everyone. Hope you're having a good day. This video is for people that are thinking about buying a fruit tree. You know, those fruit start trees that you see at Costco, Walmart, Home Depot. You can buy them. They're usually around 4 foot to like 6 foot tall. Well, whether you've bought one already or you're thinking about buying them, which is a really great time to think about buying trees that give you food in times of food shortages, supply chain issues, and crazy inflation. Get your guys' fruit trees growing now if you haven't already started. Now's the time. And if you're someone that lives in a high rise or an apartment, can't grow a fruit tree, but know somebody with a yard, buy them a fruit tree. You guys can both benefit from that fruit tree. So today we're gonna give you guys an educational tip on how to make sure that your fruit tree is gonna grow fast and produce a ton of fruit. That way you got the know-how, whether you've got a tree right now that you need to fix up or you like the idea of getting a tree. Welcome back, everybody. If you're new here, we give you guys economic, up-to-date news tips weekly, more importantly, how-tos. Be sure to hit that notification bell if you guys want to stay up to date. Let's jump into this tip. Okay, everyone, so like I said, whether you've already bought a tree, maybe you bought some fruit trees last year during the sale. Costco's always got great trees for sale. You bought some trees, you planted them. Are they doing good? Are they doing okay? They might be able to do better. Or you like the idea of planting a tree that can give you a lot of food, which is going to cost more and more and more as days go on. Either way, this tip is going to help your tree to grow faster, get the nutrients that it needs to get, and grow you more food to eat. More food that you won't have to pay money for. Like I said, if you're in an apartment or a city, somewhere where that you cannot grow a tree, chances are you know someone with a yard and you could gift them a tree. That way, when that tree gets bigger, you've got a lot of rights to say, hey, I'm gonna come over and pick up some fruit. Let's get going on this tip. Okay, this is our test subject today. It's a pear tree that I planted a couple years ago. It's not growing very fast. There's a problem. Now I buy a couple new trees every single year, and this is something that you should be doing on every tree. It's a lot easier to do it right when you buy the tree and you're planting, but if you happen to plant one and it needs a little help, this is what it's gonna look like. Okay, everyone, look at the bottom of this tree. All of this grass is doing a great job, but the tree is not doing a great job. What we need to do is make it so that this tree is going to get all the nutrients it could possibly get and not get robbed by whatever else is around it. Okay, if you took out a ton of dirt, make sure you're gonna have to replace some of the dirt. Good job, Bowden. Okay guys, the next step is fertilizer. This is the time to fertilize, and this is one of the things that we like using. It's Dr. Earth 552. It's called Natural Wonder, organic and natural handcrafted blend. This is great for fruit trees. So I burned through this bag, but you simply grab a handful. Just grab a big handful and throw it down, mix it up in the dirt, or you could use whatever fertilizer, but this step of the game is fertilizer. And there's all types of other kinds of fertilizers. There's mulch fertilizers, there's compost that you could add. There's different type of fertilizer teas you can make, but this step is adding fertilizer before you cover it up. Another great source of fertilizer is some old chicken manure, just like this. This will work really good. It's already got some straw in there, but this is super rich for plants. If you're just planting your tree, make sure it's some older stuff that's been sitting for a while. It's not too hot. Thanks, chicken. Next thing you're gonna want to do is put a little ground cover down. Just like that. Okay, so step 1 was clearing it out around the tree. Step 2, putting down the fertilizer, whatever option you'd want to use. Step 3 is putting down the ground barrier so nothing grows through. Step 4 is a barrier layer that's going to not only feed your tree, but it's also going to provide temperature control and moisture control. A lot of people use wood chips, bark, but what we like to use is what's free and we have an abundance of. And this is the last step. What you're gonna do is throw a bunch, well, what we do is throw a bunch of grass clippings in here. That way when you're watering or it gets wet, it's gonna hold the moisture in the ground and keep this area and retain the moisture longer for this tree so the ground doesn't dry out as fast. And most people always have an abundance of grass clippings. So this is a really good option. That way when you're coming around with the weed eater, all you're gonna have to do is zip around the outside of these rocks and it's always gonna stay nice and clear. You're gonna have this big barrier. This stuff will naturally kind of compost and drip down into the soil. You can see this tree. We did it just the other day. It's looking like that. Hey, Czar. Same with this little guy right here. This guy has struggled. This guy has struggled for a couple years, and most of the reason is because we just have a really rocky ground because we live on the shore of a river. It's like a rock bed. So now you know what to do to the trees that you've already planted maybe a couple years ago. A lot of you have bought tree starts at Costco, Home Depot, Walmart, local ag stores sell them. Like I said, now you know what to do around the bases. You know someone that's bought some of these. This is a great video to send to them. That way it helps them ensure that their tree's gonna grow well and produce more. All right, everyone, and if fruit trees is your thing, we also have another video to show you how to prune a fruit tree. Super important to know. I'll leave that up in the corner of the screen. Don't forget to like the video, it really helps out the channel. Comment below any extra tips that you'd like to throw at the community. People love tips. And keep growing that food, guys. We don't know what type of food shortages we're gonna see, what kind of supply chain issues we're gonna have, and how bad this inflation's gonna get. Grow your own food, never stop learning. We'll see you guys on the next one. If you guys love your chickens, one thing you can do for them is grow them a box of clover.